Hey guys, welcome to the bench. I'm Jeff. Today we're going to be talking about saving you money. So in this sport of precision shooting, it can get expensive. Ammunition for precision rifles is not cheap. So an alternative for buying ammunition off the shelf, production ammo, of course, that is an optimal choice because that ammunition has been vetted, it has been tested, it is accurate, it's consistent from reputable manufacturers. I got to add that in there. The good stuff like Black Hills, that is what I would consider a pinnacle manufacturer, especially for the military and the civilian overlap. Sometimes we get some of that ammo available whenever it's not under government contract. But the biggest reason I'm making this video today is, you know, ammunition is expensive. It is. And going out and shooting precision rifle is so much fun. It's so rewarding to me. I need to save some money when I'm doing it. So I personally got into reloading, let's see, probably 11 or 12 years ago. Started with a single stage press, loading one round at a time. And got into some progressive machines later on down the road, learned how to speed the process up. Now, this journey of mine, going from using hand tools to upgrading to certain machines to do the process for me, has definitely added to the skill sets that I've gained over the years to make this more of a streamlined process. So taking you through my process on bringing brass back to life that has been shot not once, not twice, 3, 4, 5 times, it can save you money. So the very first piece of this puzzle on reloading is the brass. So this video is going to be about bringing brass back to life that you picked up off the ground, that's already gone through your gun, rounds already downrange. What are we going to do with this one piece of brass? Now, I sourced specifically Lake City brass. It's very consistent across the years. You can see head stamps on there, typically the NATO insignia on there sometimes, but it's always going to have an L and a C and a year production like 09, 11, 16, 22. So you have this giant lot over these years. This can be the most consistent brass that we can use. I can use specifically for my process on bringing the Mark II 6.2 round to life much more affordably than actually just buying the Black Hills ammo. So first thing I do whenever I bring this brass back from the range and get it prepped and ready for the reloading process to get it back out on the range again, is the first process is I'm going to de-prime the brass. So I'm going to go to my Lee de-primer and open up that pocket. That's going to make the next process a little easier. I'm going to take it over and do a dry clean, a dry tumble, and that one's going to be my Lyman dry tumbler. So this process is going to get all that dry media inside the primer pocket, inside the case, outside the case, because I shoot suppressed primarily with most of my rifles, so this brass gets really dirty. So it's quick, it's easy, it's not very messy. That initial 1 to 2 hours I put in the dry tumbler gets the brass ready for the next process, the next steps. So moving on from there, I'm actually going to take it over to the ugly annealer. So this is a fairly new acquisition for me because this lot of brass that I have been using, I'm starting to see failures, splits in the case, especially in the neck, because I've been work hardening the brass, putting it through my resizing die over and over again. So seeing these failures in some of the brass as I am bringing them back to the range and bringing them back to life, I realized I need to soften that brass up again so I can work with it and resize it to the proper SAMI specs. Now, finishing up with the annealer, I'm going to be moving on to my RCBS resizing die. It's a short base on my single stage. That was actually my very first reloading press. Now, in this process, because we've annealed it, we can resize it, and the brass is malleable again. We can put it back into, like I said, SAMI specs. This is a part where I've actually had a lot of failures over the years, trial and error learning. What I mean by that is, if you reloaders know what I'm talking about, a stuck case is a headache. It is a nightmare. In the past, I used to use a lubricant for my case, a liquid lubricant, through my press. It got the press, or it got the die dirtier, and I had to clean it out pretty often. And I have since moved on to a wax, just applying it lightly to the wall of the casing, and that has worked perfectly for me. I haven't had any issues with stuck cases since transitioning over from a lubricant to a wax. Whenever you resize brass, you're going to see that the length may increase, so we do have to trim it back down. So Ultimate Reloader, he's got an awesome channel. I actually found that product, the Lyman Trim Case Express. This dude is awesome. I used to do this by hand, and that gave me cramps. Oh, I hated resizing the brass and bringing it down to length with manual trimmers. So this dude's got variable speed. I tend to run it on near the highest RPM. Micrometer adjustments, so you can get very, very specific on the overall length that you want, and you got some different bushings. So if you want to change out to different calibers, the whole kit comes with it, so it's pretty cool. And a lot of times, since it's been resized once or twice, it'll already be at the proper overall length. But sometimes there's some brass that does push past it a little bit. You want to make sure that each piece at least gets run through it, so it's all uniform across the board. And then, of course, that since we have cut the brass down to length, we're going to have to chamfer, which is going to be bringing a special tool in there to kind of, at an angle, cut the inside of the neck of the casing. You know, that's primarily to allow that bullet to seat a little bit more uniformly. And then we got to de-burr the outside of the neck of the casing as well. So we want to have that cleaned up. You want to check the primer pocket. A lot of Lake City brass has crimps. That's a military specification on military loaded ammunition to make sure that primer doesn't fall out, which I've never had an issue with the primer coming out on commercial or any of my reloads. But military ammo goes through much harsher conditions than what I would ever take my ammunition out. So if that's the case, if you do have one that was crimped and this is the first time that you've got around to a piece like this is the first time you're prepping this one specific piece of brass, you want to ream it out. There's a reaming tool which will kind of just slightly get rid of that crimp and allow you to easily seat a primer in on that piece of brass. We've deprimed it, we've cleaned it real quick, we've annealed it, we've resized it, we've trimmed it to length, we've chamfered it, we've de-burred, and we've reamed out the primer. So this brass is almost there. Let's just face it, this is just a personal preference on me. I could run it through the dry tumbler one more time to get rid of that wax on the resizing portion of this aspect, but I kind of like to have my brass look even prettier. So I'm going to take it to the Frankfurt wet tumbler with the stainless steel pins, the media that they use in there. This is the best way to clean your brass, in my opinion. Now, if you guys have a better option out there or a better technique, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know. But from my personal experience of running it through the wet tumbler with that stainless steel pins, I tend to get a miraculous result when that runs through there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's more of a complex process getting everything separated at the end, but I think that process is worth it. You've got to sift through the stainless steel pins because those are small. They like to hide in the primer pockets and inside the casing, so you do need to let your brass sit and dry. If you got a fan, just let it dry out. And this process is not quick by any stretch of the imagination. You have to have some patience if you're doing this process, but in my opinion, I think it's worth it. It makes the brass look incredibly pretty. Yeah, you know, some people they just think it's a dry tumbler is good enough, and it was how I did it for years and years, and I decided to jump and make my brass look a little bit prettier. Now, once it's through that entire process, I will do a QC check on the primer pockets. There's a primer pocket cleaner that you can get there. I might hit the brass once or twice if I see a little bit of residue in there, just because it's I'm kind of OCD about just making sure everything's off that brass and everything's clean and ready to go. So that is the process. Bringing 5.56 Lake City ammo back to life and ready to shoot again. And it's on my bench, and I didn't spend any additional money resourcing brass or buying it new. I can reuse this part of the reloading process over and over and over again. And I've increased the longevity of this brass with including the annealer as well. So guys, tell me what you think about my process. Is there something that you would add? If there's a process that you would subtract, you don't think it was absolutely necessary? I really enjoyed bringing this content to you. On the next video, if you guys have some comments on assembling this brass with the assorted components and bringing it to life and taking it out to the range, let me know. I enjoyed bringing this content to you guys. We will see you on the next one.